It's a machine gun. Okay, are we going? Hey.
Hi.
All right, welcome to another episode of Brickmania TV. And then it's the intro. All right, I am joined with me by legendary master builder Daniel Siskind, and he has two brand new kits to show you.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, here we are with the LVT, like amphibious track vehicles. Basically, these are light amphibious track vehicles. These were used in World War II, and they are swimming tanks, basically. So they were developed at the beginning of, well, they were built prior to World War II, and the Marines saw that there would be a need for amphibious landings, and they really saw interest in these things and acquired some beginning of the war and started using them when the Marines started taking back islands captured by the Japanese.
So this first one here is the Amtrac.
Yes.
Right?
So this is what this is the direct descendant. This is an LVT-4.
Yeah.
The original Amtrac, the LVT-1, was basically it was a boat with tracks on it.
Yeah.
And they made some improvements. They did, after the invasion of Tarawa, they ran a bunch of these up on the beaches, and they needed some improvements. Found it was obviously had some shortcomings, so they did a little bit of rearranging on it. The LVT-4, which this is, the most notable feature of this from the earlier versions is it has this opening ramp. So the motor originally was in the back. They moved it forward, and then had this great cargo compartment here on it. So all the guys could basically, this thing could drive up on the beach. The guys could get out. So this thing could, they say they could carry up to 30 people. I think that's actually a little bit exaggerated.
Sure,
we get combat troops all loaded up.
I have it loaded up with 10 guys right now, and that looks pretty full. But
sure.
Obviously, minifigure scale's a little bit off.
Well, yeah, and so basically they'll drive this thing right up on the shore while they're swimming through the water. They'll have guys from the back manning the machine gun. So the vehicle itself has one machine gun. Your assistant driver would be firing away at shore emplacements, and then you have your guys in the back would be manning all the machine guns. This case we have two 50 caliber and then two 30 caliber. So yeah, two M2HBs, two M1919s from Brick Arms in this case.
Yeah.
And the case with all the Brickmania tanks and vehicles. So this is the LVT kit. People might remember a couple of years ago we put out a different LVT. Back then we didn't have our Brickmania track links made yet. So this is the most notable, the most notable improvement on this version is it actually has the Brickmania track links. In this case, they're 1.5 wide, which is actually pretty close to what the vehicle would have in reality, realistic to scale that we use.
Yeah.
Some other notable features are that it does have opening hatches. You can lift the roof off the crew compartment actually.
Oh, I didn't know it could do that.
Yeah, well, it's cool. It's just like the other one. You can lift the roof off, and it has a space inside for 2 crewmen, so you can fit these guys down here.
I didn't know that.
Basically, you can see that there are seats for the guys to sit in, and levers for the controls. I didn't bother to do the research and look inside the the actual crew compartment. I'm pretty sure it's levers for steering, but I could be wrong. I put levers in it. If I'm wrong, you can put your own steering wheel in. Chances are it's levers, just like any normal tracked vehicle.
Sure.
So, but your 2 guys can sit down in it. It comes with 1, so this is basically what you get out of the box. You get a...
Yeah, those extra guys were just extra guys.
Yeah, we were staging it for the action shot, so you get plenty of room in here. I did bring with one of Cody's Jeeps just to demonstrate that you can, in fact, fit one of the Jeeps inside of here, and this is realistic. The LVT-4, this version, is kind of on just the right size. They could fit a Jeep in there, maybe a small armored vehicle. The next one after this was they sort of redesigned it, moved the motor to the sides, made it a little wider. You could fit even something like a universal carrier or something. And it's a little bit bigger, but for our case, this is the LVT-4. This is what we made. So this would be, these went to shore on, at 1944 through the end of the war. These were involved in every major battle that the U.S. Marines were involved with, and the U.S. Army, I should say. We always seem to cover Marines only in Brickmania, but the U.S. Army was really involved in the amphibious warfare in World War II in the Pacific and also in Europe. Wow. So they dragged these things across across Europe for when the U.S. Army invaded the Rhine, Germany over the Rhine River. They had these things here So they ferried troops across.
So you could use this thing in all sorts of different battles.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It would be cool if we made a dragon wagon. We could actually show it being towed across the across the continental Europe and across France
Yeah, that'd be cool.
into Germany. But yeah, they used them there, and they were used in the Korean War, and they even still use something today very similar.
Yeah.
It's like the 7th generation now. So this is the LVT-4. What they use now is called the AAV, I believe, and it's a
Similar scale, or?
It's big. These things
Bigger?
are massive.
Right.
So we were just at the tank farm.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And out in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw how big this was. These
Yeah,
things are
it's-
bigger than tanks. So
It's massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
So
You're next to it, and it's just this giant box.
it's like a boat on land. It's crazy.
Huge. It's cool.
So, but we have another one. So
Yeah.
we know this is the idea. It's Pacific Month. We wanted to re-release the LVT, but one other thing that we wanted to also do is do a little bit of a variant.
Yeah.
So this is the LVT-4. It has a lot of resemblance to the LVT. You have profile. It's the same sort of track system. But the LVT-4, really what these were are fire support tanks.
Okay.
So when they first started going to shore, all they had besides the big naval guns, which are basically they're hard to target,
Yeah.
close up targets on land, hard to get real close up support. So what they did realized that the 50 cal is not strong enough to really take out little bunkers and pillboxes. So they put basically a tank turret on the LVT.
So it's the same bottom half, pretty much.
Yeah, in this case it's an LVT-2 where the motor is actually still in the back.
Okay.
All of the LVT-A, the armored ones, are based on the LVT-2 hull, which is,
Yeah.
it's similar. It's
Yeah.
very similar,
Okay.
but it's the placement of the motor. This has an armored box on it, basically, so there's a cover over the crew compartment. In our case, I didn't actually put any details inside. You could take the top off. There's just nothing inside.
Sure.
This one, the LVT-4, was the later development. They had a Stewart light tank turret on it. Realized that the Stewart gun, the 37 millimeter gun, isn't really powerful enough to take out a fortified, dug-in Japanese position. So they put on the M8 Howitzer turret instead. So it's a 75 millimeter howitzer. It has tons of armored, tons of space for shells and stuff inside. I think they could even carry a few troops inside of it too if they had to, if they wanted to, or cargo. But mainly it's a support tank.
Yeah.
So what would happen is the ships would be offshore, like say an LST, would drop these things into the water, and your troops would be going ashore in the LVT, and then you'd have another wave of LVTAs, armored ones, preceding them that would basically pepper the ground and prepare for ground assault.
Awesome.
So they'd really, if you're doing an invasion scene, you're going to see both of these on the beach.
Yeah, and this is a cool kit. There's lots of, you take this guy out here and you can spin this turret all the way around, opening hatches.
Yeah, it does have opening hatches. It's basically there to complete your diorama.
Yeah.
You see lots of pictures of these things on the shore. They did improve these over the time that you could add more armor to the turret. You can add armored mountings. Both of these actually you could have armored mountings. It's as World War II progressed, they kept improving the gear lots of times even in the field. So you can see lots of modifications. Just like all Brickmania kits, they're all built to be, it's Lego. You can keep adding to it.
Change it as much as you want.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other features on this bad boy?
No, it's just cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
One thing we should mention is this specific month, and we made 50 of each of these.
Yep.
These will probably be available later on down the line, but for right now, there's just one batch of each. It's while Pacific Month is happening, they're actually 10% off.
Nice.
Which is through the end of August 2016. After that, sorry, you're gonna have to pay full price.
Cool. Right. All right. With that, I guess that's the end of the episode.
Excellent.
Thank you very much for watching. For more information, check out brickmania.com.
Thanks for listening to my ramble thing forever and ever and ever. All right, anything else?
No. And this is the part where the cool music starts playing, and then
Sure.
the camera backs away, and then the news crew keeps talking, but you don't really know what
You
they're
keep
saying.
joking, yeah.
Hey, we're talking about stuff. It's neither of us are wearing pants. That's not true. I'm wearing pants. Back to the news crew cave.
Back down to the basement.
There are my pants.